Welcome back to another episode of the continuing saga of Bondo Betty. Today, we're going to try to get this gas tank into Bondo Betty and replace this gas tank right here. As you can see, I've already removed the fuel sender, the float, I should say. We're going to get this out, get a fuel filter in, and go from there. All right, you can see that I have put a fuel filter into the line that's going to attach to the bottom of the gas tank. It's just a really simple fuel filter that I got from Napa. Next, we're going to try to set the new gas tank into here. Okay, so we set this in. It sits pretty well. We've got get the lines out of the way. You see this bolt hole, it'll clear. So when I put this hold down in like such, it will hold it. Same for the other side. That front one on the driver's side fits really well. Unfortunately, this one does not clear. So I'm going to have to clear the clearance, the gas tank, and hopefully not create a leak, because that will be kind of expensive. Ultimately, I'm fairly certain that when the front end of this car was wrecked, which is why has a fiberglass front end, that the right, or I guess it'd be the right front corner, the passenger side corner, was pushed in, which could be why this bolt hole that we need to hold this gas tank in is not in quite the right spot. Really quick video of what I'm doing is I'm using this cutoff wheel on the flange and using this bolt kind of as a guide, and just taking a little bit off and then test fitting the tank back and forth and trying to take off the bare minimum of material. Now, if you take a look at that, we have clearance the lip. We're probably going to pull it out and just clean it up just a touch with the file. As you see, I've got that bolt in right there. And we are going to stick this one in. And as you can see, it screws in just fine. So we are going to take it out, clean up that, and then install the bottom tank fuel filter and the outlet and all that. So now I'm going to put this filter onto the outlet bung with a gasket on it. I've already attached the hose to it that goes to the fuel filter. I took the paint off of this surface with a little bit of sandpaper and cleaned it with some brake clean, and we're going to assemble this thing. We have the outlet bung installed tight. I'm hoping I have the orientation right. What I don't know is how well this is going to clear everything underneath the gas tank, but we're about to find out. Okay, we set the gas tank in, we attached the fuel line, and if we look at this, try to zoom in, the bung, fuel filter, and everything clears. It works. It works. You don't have any kinks in the line. It looks pretty decent. I'm wondering if I want to move the fuel filter up a little bit, but I like it. I think it's going to work pretty well. One more thing I need to do before I install the gas tank is I have this milk crate that I use to store things like a jack, oil, tools, and whatnot, but I need to cut off this lip here because the gas tank comes out further this way from this hole. So I need to trim this down in order to use these as the hold down for the front of the gas tank. So I'll use this cutoff wheel grinder, and we will take care of that. All right, we got the gas tank mounted in. We got these back hold downs in. We got the front hold downs in. We got our cargo tray. We have a vent tube routed down here underneath the car. I don't have a fuel sender in yet because we are going to try and fix the cable operated gauge, which I have right here. I've taken the gauge apart and I almost broke that needle. It might need a little bit of solder, but as you can see, try to zoom in on this right here. There's a ball that is operated by this push-pull cable, which doesn't move freely in the housing. So what I'm going to try to do is cut the housing off and put a new housing on. I'm probably going to cut this end of the ball off and then try to re-solder it onto the cable. The cable attaches into this part here of the float. I don't know if you can see that well, if I hold it still. And yeah, so we're gonna try to make this work, and if not, we have the Voodoo gauge and float that I showed you in the previous episode. We may end up using that anyways. We'll see how this comes out, but I kind of like the idea of the mechanical fuel gauge. I just really would like to make this work. Okay, in this rat's nest of stuff, you can see the blue connector that I connected to this bus bar here with the green wire. And what I've done is just a little preliminary wiring. I've got this fuel gauge here. I've got the tank float up against the ground that I used for the wiring, and if I lift the float, you can see that fuel gauge works. So I'm pretty satisfied that with the keyed power source and the grounding that this works. Now to do a permanent installation. Okay, what I'm going to do now is solder the two green wires, which go to the power of the gauge, one for the gauge and one for the light, and I'm connecting them to the two red wires, which are soldered to the spade plug, where they attach to the bus bar that is on a keyed ignition source. I'll shrink wrap the solder joint like I'm doing on all the others once I've completed the soldering. Okay, I got the wiring for this fuel gauge pretty much buttoned up. I got it, you can see how all that goes in there. I got the grounds. You know, some of this might look a little hack and a little bit like a wiring nightmare, but it's actually pretty straightforward. I'll put the cover on and show you what that looks like. So that's the cover that was in here before. It's got a couple of cutouts here for your speedometer cable and other stuff. Basically, this project is done. We have finished this gas tank installation, and we'll move to changing out these rear seals. As you can see, it's leaking pretty good. We'll get the this driver's side buttoned up first. And yeah, hopefully the next couple weeks we'll have Bondo Betty up and running. Today would have been a beautiful day to drive her. But thank you for watching. Ta-ta for now.